This is now take 2 of my initial thoughts to this insane NBA trade deadline shenanigans going on the night of the trade deadline at 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm tired, and Woj won't stop tweeting, and it's kind of pissing me off at this rate, but we're going to get through it because I want to make a video and give you guys my thoughts and my grades on these trades, because this has been absolutely insane. It's going to make for good content. So here we go. If you guys haven't seen already, this trade deadline has gone berserk. We thought it was going to be super boring, one of the most boring trade deadlines in NBA history. We thought OG Anunoby was going to be the biggest trade target, and now we have this. And I'm just going to get right into it so we can get this video done as soon as possible. Kevin Durant is going to the Phoenix Suns. Now, the full trade entails that the Suns are sending Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder, 4 first-round picks, a 2028 pick swap in exchange for Durant and TJ Warren. Now, those 4 first-round picks are unprotected for 2023, 2025, 2027, and 2029. I was saying this in the previous video with the Kyrie trade. I saw a lot of Nets fans upset that they traded away Kyrie, that they gave away their chances of competing. Listen, I understand you're upset, but you got to keep in mind that it had to be done, right? For 3 reasons. Number 1, the KD Kyrie era did not work out, and it's better to try and stock up more picks since you lost so many from so many bad trades with, you know, like James Harden, Kyrie, the Ben Simmons trade, all that stuff. It's better to stock up your picks now rather than wait when these trades can't get any value. Number 2, the East was super competitive, and in a postseason scenario, I don't think KD, Kyrie, and a lackluster Nets team, I don't think they're going to beat teams like Milwaukee and Boston and Philly and Cleveland. There's just absolutely no way. And number 3, they most likely were not going to pay Kyrie because Kyrie is super unpredictable for them. They've said it in previous interviews. They've gone on over it multiple times. So it just makes sense for them to trade him away and get the value for him now. And since you're trading Kyrie away, you know you're not going to be able to compete with just KD and a weird rotational support group for KD, especially since he has said in previous interviews that he doesn't want to play with bums off the bench. You trade him away, and now you're in full rebuild mode. And honestly, I think it's great for Brooklyn because these picks could hit. You got Cam Thomas coming into the light, who's playing out of his mind, super young. You're getting Mikal Bridges, who is Defensive Player of the Year, super young. Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder, which I won't talk about Jay Crowder too much because they're already looking at trading him, as Woj tweeted. It's a nightmare right now. So I think this is a massive dub for Brooklyn. I was saying it in the last trade with Kyrie, and I'll say it in this trade too. A+ trade for Brooklyn. Brooklyn GM did a great job here at maneuvering this NBA trade deadline, and now I'm sorry, Nets fans, that you don't get to compete this year, but just wait a couple years. That's how NBA teams work. You get your picks to hit, you get your core players, you get young, you start to compete. It's going to be way better than all the shenanigans and drama you always have to deal with Kyrie and KD. And yeah, it's sad it didn't work out. It's sad that they couldn't get a ring, but at least now you know where the direction's heading. Now let's talk about Phoenix, because for Phoenix, it gets super, super weird. You get Kevin Durant. This tells me one thing. You're trying to win this year because you're taking on the Kevin Durant contract, which is going to kill your salary cap because he's on your payroll for the next 4 years, and it's a major contract. Over $200 million guaranteed. Who knows if CP3 stays or retires or goes to another team. He's also 38 years old. KD's getting older, and you're also starting to lose a lot of depth on the bench because you just traded away pieces like Cam Johnson and Jay Crowder. So for Phoenix, this is a win now type of deal. I still think this is a good trade for him nonetheless. Now, yes, you lose a lot of your future. It's a new GM. He wants to make a splash in the scene. He wants to show that he can make big deals when the fans want him to make big deals, and he did that. And he wants to win now, and I respect him for that. Matt Ishbia seems to know what he's doing. Does this mean though that Phoenix can win now? They're in win now mode, but can they win now? And I think they can. And the reason for that is because before with Kevin Durant, the only way the Suns win games is through Devin Booker. Without Devin Booker on the floor, you lose all your offense and you're already a mediocre defensive team, right? So without Devin Booker on the floor, no one's facilitating the ball. Someone always has to step up, and they never do. Mikal Bridges was balling for him, but he just couldn't do it all by himself because the team's not built for him. The team is built to go through Devin Booker's hands and get other people open to score on the corner or whatever. Devin Booker drops you like basically 60 a night. So yes, it's obvious that without Devin Booker, they couldn't win games. In a postseason scenario, that's really bad for your team because we saw it with Dallas where if you have one superstar, all-star, insanely talented player who scores and facilitates 99% of your offense, good teams are going to shut it down. Now, Dallas was in a weird situation because Phoenix sucks so bad that they let them get all the way to the Western Conference Finals, and they didn't really have a great competition with the Jazz in the first round. But in the Western Conference Finals, Golden State locked down Luka Doncic. Jalen Brunson had to step up, but it just wasn't enough because their team's not built to beat Golden State without a second star to help get guys open, move the ball more around, etc., etc. Because of that, Dallas fell short of going to the finals. Phoenix is the same way. It's why Phoenix was so bad last year in the postseason. That's why Phoenix is starting to struggle in the regular season. Now that you have Kevin Durant, it changes everything. We also know that Devin Booker is not great when it comes to clutch time scenarios in the postseason. You know who is? Kevin Durant. He's shown that in Golden State. He's shown that in Brooklyn when he had his conference finals East run. It means they're going to score more. It means that they're going to go to the free throw line more, which gets you more guaranteed points, which makes your offense more dominant. You also still have one of the best facilitators to ever play basketball in Chris Paul. Getting KD open is not going to be hard. And it's going to be really interesting to see. I think this shoots them into finals contention. I really do believe that now. Phoenix is going to be sick, dude. Phoenix is going to be absolutely nasty with it. Now, in a really tough West, we're going to have to see how it plays out, and I'm super excited to see. I think this is a good trade for him as of right now. Long term, it's not going to be great, and Phoenix is going to struggle heavily like the Lakers did for a couple years now. But the Lakers won their championship in 2020. Maybe Phoenix can do the same thing because they're in win now mode. So for Brooklyn, I give it an A+, like I said. For Phoenix, I'm going to give it a B+. Now let's move on to the Spurs-Raptors trade. Pretty big trade here, considering that Jakob Poeltl is pretty underrated and a really sick center in the NBA. But not a huge splash compared to some of these other trades that have been going on in the deadline. So the Raptors get Jakob Poeltl, and the Spurs get Kem Birch, a 2024 protected first-round pick, and 2 future second-rounders. Absolute W trade for the Spurs. I'm gonna give the Spurs an A+ here as well. You just stock up even more draft capital. The amount of young talent they're gonna get through these drafts is gonna be absolutely insane with the already major cap space that they have. Like, they have a ton of room to pay these kind of players, and it's gonna be really awesome to see how San Antonio starts to develop. Meanwhile, for the Raptors, you bring in Jakob Poeltl. Now, I get why they did this. He's an excellent fit in Toronto, slides in perfectly to their system, plays exactly how they want to be playing. Does it put them in contention? Absolutely not. No, it doesn't. Now, for the future, it's going to make Toronto a little bit better because they can extend his contract, and then, who knows, they pick up some rotational players. Maybe they contend with Pascal Siakam and Scotty Barnes. You never know. If they decide not to trade Scotty Barnes because the trade deadline's still going. That's obvious. But as of right now, I wouldn't say this is a great trade for them. I don't think Jakob Poeltl is that game-changing for their game and for what they're doing that you're going to be able to go out and win more games and compete in a postseason scenario, because he's not going to revolutionize your offensive scoring. You're still going to be mediocre at all and in points per game. and getting, you know, open shots, more efficient shots, because Fred VanVleet is still having an absolute terrible season, and the only person who's scoring on a consistent basis for them is Pascal Siakam. So we'll see how it goes for them. I think Jakob Poeltl is going to play great over there in Toronto, but I don't think it's that big of a trade for Toronto. I'm going to give them a C here. This was a pretty mid trade. I'll go through this quick. It was the Knicks and the Trailblazers here. The Knicks get Josh Hart, and the Blazers get Cam Reddish and a lottery protected 2023 first round pick that can turn into 4 future second rounders. The Knicks are also sending those 2 players. I'm not going to say their names because I'm going to butcher them. For the Blazers, I would say it's a B+ trade because you get a lottery first round pick. For Josh Hart, that is huge. I don't know how they got a first round pick out of Josh Hart, but congratulations to the Blazers for getting a first round pick out of Josh Hart, because it's low-key a steal in my opinion. Josh Hart's been playing fine this season, but is he worth a lottery protected first round pick? Probably not. No, absolutely not. So yeah, great job on the Blazers for basically fleecing the Knicks. They also get Cam Reddish, who's a good rotational player. He'll help out in the, you know, Dame-less minutes. He'll be great off the bench. They need more guard play. But yeah, B+ trade for the Blazers. For the Knicks, this is a C trade, dude. Near D. What is Josh Hart gonna do for your team that rises you into contention? Yes, they needed more guard play. Yes, they needed someone to play pick and roll for Julius Randle and RJ Barrett, but is it enough? No, because it's Josh Hart. You know, he's gonna jack up a 3 and he's gonna drain it sometimes, but I don't think it's gonna be that valuable for them. I'm gonna give it a C, and you gave up a first round lottery protected pick for Josh Hart. So I don't know how I feel about this trade. I'll just give it a C or a D. Let me know what you think, Knicks fans. And then the final trade we thought was gonna be one of the biggest trades of the deadline, and it is, but not compared to the other trades that have been going on. It's the 3-team trade between the Lakers, the Jazz, and the Timberwolves. The Lakers get D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, and Jared Vanderbilt. The Jazz get Juan Toscano Anderson, Russell Westbrook, and a lightly protected first round pick from Los Angeles. That's the 2027 first round pick. And the Timberwolves get Mike Conley, Nickeil Alexander, and a couple second round picks. For the Lakers, this is an absolute W trade. Finally, Rob Pelinka hit. He needed to hit because the fans were absolutely crucifying him, and rightfully so, because he's a horrible GM, and I don't know how he got extended. Just because you won a championship doesn't mean you should get your job security, because my God, has he run the Lakers team into the ground. But this trade is extremely good for him because now they're finally competent to be a play-in team, and because you have LeBron and AD on your team, if AD can stay healthy, you can make a little run in the postseason. Now, how well will it be for them because they're in a competitive West? I have no idea. We're going to have to see how it plays out. But I'm really excited to see how it plays out because now they can finally shoot the 3 ball with Malik Beasley and D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell gets shot into the starting lineup. D'Angelo Russell is another playmaker to play around LeBron James, and it's going to be really fun to see how they mesh together. And then Jared Vanderbilt, obviously, he's going to be that energy guy that the Lakers really, really need alongside Austin Reeves. And he's going to play a little bit of that defense that they're lacking. Still not the greatest defense when AD's not on the floor, but it'll help out tremendously. And then Malik Beasley, another 3-point shooter. Is a really good trade for the Lakers, and they're going to be really good now. Well, not really good, obviously, but they're going to be an actual fear to look at. And I'm going to give this an A+ for the Lakers. As for the Jazz, this is an A+, near A++ territory. You stock up on even more draft capital, and you get a ton of guys that you're just going to end up cutting or not committing to their full contracts so that you clear up even more cap space, or you can use them to shove off to other teams in even more trades and stock up on even more draft capital. The Jazz are so freaking young. They have so many first round picks all the way through 2029. They have so much cap space, and they don't need to commit to anyone in the free agency because they're just going to win through the draft. The Jazz are going to be nuts come later on down the years. I'm finally glad they're starting to commit to the rebuild instead of the retool, because they were winning games with Lauri Markkanen, so they were thinking, okay, can we compete in the play-in this season and maybe make a little run to make our fan base happy? No, don't be like the Wizards. Start your rebuild, get your picks, move forward, have a plan for the future. That's what you should do. Don't be like the Washington Wizards. Absolute insane trade for the Jazz, A++. For the Timberwolves, man, this is a really, really, really weird trade. I don't understand it. I really, truly don't understand this trade. I don't know what the other options here or the other deals were here for the Timberwolves, but the fact that you only get a couple second rounders here and you get Mike Conley with Rudy Gobert back and Nickeil Alexander-Walker for, you know, the guard play you kind of need. He'll be your rotational guard since you just traded away some depth. I mean, it's a decent trade. Mike Conley and Rudy Gobert, they play nice together. Mike Conley's going to help out tremendously alongside Anthony Edwards, so now Anthony Edwards doesn't have to play point. I feel like D'Angelo Russell is worth a little bit more than a few second rounders, but I mean, that's just me. I'm going to give them a C. I don't think it's a terrible trade for them, but like I said, it depends on the other options, because obviously other GMs and teams have to be willing to trade, and no one thought any of these GMs were going to be willing to trade because of how, you know, the season's been going out. It's so competitive. Everyone has a shot at making the play-in. They feel like all their young players are worth multiple first-round picks, and teams just don't have that kind of, you know, confidence or capital to be trading a bunch of first-round picks like that. So, you know, the fact that you get a couple picks out of it, you know, it works, and you get Mike Conley, it works, but I just feel like it could have been more. That's just me, personally speaking. Let me know how you feel if you're a Timberwolves fan. Those are my thoughts on the trade deadline so far. I was going to do a full recap of the trade deadline, but I wanted to make this update video for you guys now because it's more content for you guys to enjoy, as well as these trades have been so insane. I just have to talk about them now before people get old of them. So there you go. That's my thoughts on these crazy trades going on so far. Woj won't stop tweeting, and it's freaking 1 o'clock in the morning, so I'm gonna go to bed now. If you like this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you all on the next one. Peace.